Good afternoon, everyone. So, in 10 minutes of time, we discuss which is better, PDT or conventional tracheostomy. So, in 10 minutes of time, we discuss the definition, percutaneous dilatation tracheostomy or PCT. It's not procal, it's percutaneous tracheostomy. So, definition, indication, contraindication, procedure, the complication, and what the advantage of the PCT or PDT. Tracheostomy, everyone knows to clear the opening in trachea. What is surgical? We dissect the things of the trachea, we put the incision on the trachea, and we insert a tracheostomy tube. Percutaneous PDT, generally we do perform a transverse incision or the vertical incision, but Medanta people or some other very higher institute, they don't put an incision. And they just like a Seldinger technique from the central line, they put the tracheostomy tube with the kit. So as according to DISEC study or the ISCCM expert panel recommendation, what are the indication of tracheostomy? Everyone knows prolonged ventilation like ERDS, weaning from ventilator support if you have difficult weaning, tracheobronchial tolerating when you have neuro patient, poor airway, upper airway obstruction because of stridor, because of you remove the tumor but the epiglottis is swollen, the vocal cord is swollen, or you can require a permanent airway control in malignancy, that's onco patient, larynx patient. So in that cases. So according to DISEC study, what are the general indication amongst that study to go for the conventional tracheostomy when you have altered neck anatomy, short, thick or obesity, you have coagulopathy and the primary doctor is not confident or not having experience with doing the PDT. Contraindication per se, there is no, except infection at the site, there is any as such contraindication for PCT, but coagulopathy is relative, altered neck anatomy is also relative. Unstable cervical spine, if you require, you can do it. Morbid obesity now is not an absolute contraindication, and patient on the high PEEP. But for this, you require at least FiO2 requirements around 60%. The standard recommendation for the bronchoscopy. The first method developed by 1985 by Sieglia is basically a PDT, the technique. But what we have these two kits available at SIMS. Generally, we use this kit. It's a PDT technique. Here, you can only have a single dilator. And here, this is called the Griggs forceps. We have a forceps. We use forceps in this one, and we use this single dilator in this one. So we are using at SIMS is this tracheostomy kit. Both are available. Those who are comfortable with this one, you can use this one. I am compatible with all the ICU people, even our JR consultant has done the tracheostomy with this one. So how we do it, we put generally transverse incision 2 centimeter above the suprasternal notch and below the cricoid cartilage. And then we insert the needle as what we do in this transtracheal, we can say transtracheal anesthesia. But the needle here is a big one and with a guided sheet. So and then they put send a wire, J wire with the J tip going towards the downward side towards the carina. So here you can see this is the sheet of the needle. So needle we have removed it and then we put the sheet inside it and we are inserting the guide wire. Both this up to this level of steps, both the method like the Griggs method or the PDT method, the steps are remains the same. And now we are insert for the kit we are using at SIMS. Then now we are inserting the short dilator from the same wire over the wire. So we have removed the sheet and we have removed the guiding catheter for the wire. We removed it and then now we are inserting the 14 French short dilator. And then we are dilating it and then we remove it. So next step, this is the guiding sheet, this is the arrow. This it should be up to the skin level or the anterior wall of trachea. And this is the outer one, this is the first end at the skin level. And this is the distal end. So it is just to guide the next big dilator method. So this is the main thing what we do. This is the main step. So this dilator has to be immersed in water and up to this level of our distal side, we have to keep this and we have to force the dilator in the trachea. We have to dilate by the blunt dissection. So we are not cutting anything. It is just by the blunt dissection. But this thing has to be immersed in the around 10 minutes before the using it because this material is hygroscopic. It absorbs the water and once you insert it, it gives you a smooth feeling that you are dilating the trachea. You are not injuring. You don't require much force to dilate the anterior wall of trachea. And then up to the black mark of the single dilator, you have to dilate the trachea. So here, up to this black mark, you can dilate it and the opening has been made. Just make sure that never insert beyond the black marker of the singular because generally company people gives us a 8 French tube. If you want to insert the higher number of tube like 8.59, you can go ahead, but still the company says it's only up to till this mark Don't go beyond that, the black mark. And don't twist the big dilator. You can twist the short dilator, but don't don't do a twisting movement for the big dilator. And lastly, we are inserting the tracheostomy tube. This is the tube. We have just inserted an introducer for the tracheostomy. We are applying a lubricating jelly, and then over the guide wire, after using the single dilator, last step is to insert the tracheostomy. And then we are inserted tracheostomy, and then after inserting the tracheostomy, we are removing the introducer. So with the introducer, guide wire and the sheet, we have to remove all in total. Okay. So we are removing introducer now. As we have seen that we can remove the introducer. So this is how we do. For those who want to use Griggs method, this is the forceps we have to use it. There is no sheet over here. So over the sheet, over the guide wire, you just insert the forceps. So how we can just say what are the studies it's showing? This it's basically an expert recommendation from the ISCCM and also the DESEC study, and they have concluded the TRACMAN trial and the meta-analysis from the JAMA also. So does the standard tracheostomy result in a lower complication rate as compared to the PDT? Definitely the PDT has a lower complication rate, and the higher chances of stoma infection and the bigger scar is with the standard tracheostomy. That is study proven for sure. But according to our Indian study, DISEC study, PDT has definitely margin incidence of the intrapuncture is a minor bleed, the word is here is, and the desaturation. But standard tracheostomy has a higher range of major complications like major bleeding, hypotension, need for BAL, and even death. So generally with the PDT, death is very less likely when we have not seen that. Regarding cost reduction, how PDT is useful, PDT has to be mostly we are doing it at bedside. So definitely bedside charges and everything will be not as high as compared to OT. So PDT according to study wise, the DISEC study is 10,000 less price than the standard tracheostomy done in the OT. ENT doctor, even Hamel does the surgical tracheostomy as a bedside. So that's a different. But having said that, still the surgical tracheostomy is high because we use quarter in everything. Does any technique of the PDT result in a lower complication rate? Yes. So one, the technique we are using with this single dilator technique it can be used by the less experienced person. So it is very easy to use, and if you have done a trained tracheostomy by under someone's supervision, definitely you can do it alone by the law or by the guidelines. What is the use of FOB during PDT? Generally, me and Pradeep and Niren sir has used this bronchoscopy during the ECMO patient, and also we have used in some COVID patient, around 7 to 8 patients for the portable bronchoscopy we have used it. And definitely the advantage of bronchoscopy is that when you insert the needle, you can definitely directly confirm the position of the needle. The main step of this kit is to insert the needle. I know we are playing with the toys, but the needle insertion has to be precise. If it is not precise, then you can insert the tracheostomy in the false track. And also we can use the ultrasound. Ultrasound why we are using, because the pretracheal vessels we cannot predict. So anyone who has more than around 2 vessels during the insertion site, so definitely we have to change our track, or we can have more chances of complication post procedure. So definitely ultrasound when it's available, those who are comfortable, we can use it. But I am very comfortable when we have a complication, we find it very difficult, we are using bronchoscopy. So as we had discussed, so previously the morbidity was a contraindication, but now it's a relative contraindication. And coagulopathy, platelet less than 50,000 and INR more than 1.5. Definitely we need to do a correction before going for the tracheostomy. Even we have seen that INR more than 1.5 people do bleed post procedure. Coagulopathy and NOACs and antiplatelets, especially clopidogrel, has to be stopped before doing the tracheostomy. And we can use ultrasound or bronchoscopy, whichever is available. Now comes to the study wise, like what are the things we can achieve? Why we do tracheostomy? To reduce the work of breathing, to those patients who require prolonged ventilation, to have a secure airway, to reduce the number of less number of sedation requirement. So definitely tracheostomy does reduce this thing, but it doesn't reduce the incidence of VAP, and it doesn't reduce the incidence of mortality. There's no difference of mortality between the early tracheostomy versus late tracheostomy. Early tracheostomy is just generally done within 7 to 10 days. We are also doing the tracheostomy early. We are not doing the late tracheostomy in our setup. Does definitely reduce the length of the stay, but it's not affecting the mortality. Some studies have shown that it can just reduce the neurological patient. They said that it does reduce the mortality, but not a randomized control trial. Our scenes experience we'll discuss in the last 2 minutes. Till now, we had done 127 tracheostomy. We don't know if it's highest in Gujarat, we don't know. Procedure time will be repeated is 10 to 15 minutes. Mainly, bleeding has happened because we have missed some patients. INR is 1.8, but because we know that even if you do pleural tapping or rosary tapping, INR up to 2, we can just be free or we don't worry about it. We had only just converted one patient to standard conventional tracheostomy. That was Dr. TKBG's patient, and we had tried, but it was not going easily. So that's why we converted to conventional tracheostomy. And we have used portable bronchoscopy in around 10 patients. These are all COVID patients, and mostly we have not used Griggs forceps. Every procedure 127 has been done with a single elevator technique. And we just show you the bleeding scenario, the post procedure. These are generally the superficial bleeding, not typically coming from the intra-bronchial or intratracheal bleeding. This is just the superficial bleeding. Mostly we have cut some vessels before inserting the trachea. So these are the oozing. Correction will be the stop this antiplatelets and the correction of the coagulopathy. That's the main thing. And this is one of the rarest complications we have encountered. Can anyone comment what has happened here? You seen that? So virus entangle, this is not we have created, patient ने complication थी थी. So this is the wire has been entangled towards the Murphy's eye, on the lower part of the Murphy's eye. So ET was there because definitely ET has to be there. And then we are inserting the wire, which is smallest of margin, the wire has gone inside the ET tube. So we cannot able to insert the tracheostomy because everything was jammed up. So we had to again remove it, we had to put back the ET tube, and then we had to redo the tracheostomy. But also the patient developed the subcutaneous emphysema also because we are not able to secure the airway tracheostomy because the opening was been made, and we had to again we took some time to reinsert the ET tube. So that's why it has given the subcutaneous emphysema. So take home message: PDT is safe and more comfortable. Complications are definitely less than the standard tracheostomy. Procedure time is mostly 15 minutes. We definitely have a good backup of Dr. TKBG. I would definitely, he is basically a pioneer for PDT in the ICU, for 6th floor ICU. So I respect him a lot. And he also pushed me beyond my limits. So we did one tracheostomy also in thyroid nodal patient. So he just does some nasty things. And also we are using bronchoscopy and USG. So this is our COVID team. This is Dr. TKBG, Dr. Vipul sir, me, Nikin, and staff. So this has all started after COVID, during COVID. So this huge number is 127 is a good number, but generally our standard is like we are doing 70 to 80 tracheostomy per year. So it's around, you can say that compared to very high standard, we have a good number of tracheostomy we are doing in 6th floor ICU.